Hi there, fellow virtual wastelanders. I'm Cylon Surfer, and welcome back to a brand new mod development update video. This video is rather unexpected, as after the release of virtual holsters, I had planned to wind down and take somewhat of a modding vacation. However, whilst reading through the Fallout 4 VR subreddit, I stumbled across a sort of virtual holsters appreciation post by a user called Stunning Tart 9962. The post detailed how they were using virtual holsters in combination with another mod to provide themselves with a sort of manual reload mechanic. Now, whilst what they were doing didn't exactly appeal to me personally, the post did pique my interest somewhat. Stunning Tart, if you're watching, please do reach out to me via a direct message on either Reddit or via the Nexus, and I'll arrange to send you a copy of my virtual holster art pack, which is usually only available to my patron subscribers. And without further ado, I would like to present my latest mod, Virtual Reloads. Yes, it's finally happening, folks, and whilst things are still in the early stages of development, I hope to show you the progress I've made thus far. Please do keep in mind that what you see here today is subject to change, and some of the features that you'll see are still very bare bones. I'll kick things off today with my go-to weapon, the 10mm pistol. First of all, let me empty my current magazine, and the first thing you'll notice is the weapon no longer auto-reloads, and instead enters a dry fire mode. At this stage, I can press the game's reload button, and we can see that the empty magazine is now ejected from the weapon and falls to the ground. At the same time, a ammo pouch is spawned on my body, and I can use this to take a brand new magazine, insert it into my weapon, and then grab the weapon slide. As we're seeing, the slide is spring-loaded, so if I were to release it, it springs back to its original position. The slide will follow my offhand movements while it's being gripped, so all I need to do now is pull it fully back and then release it. And there we go, a manually reloaded weapon. What you can't see here in the video is that there are haptic events firing off throughout this process, giving you those essential cues as to when your hand is within an interaction zone, such as where you can release the magazine, and also when the slide reaches its maximum position. If I were to let go of a magazine outside of the mag insertion zone, the magazine will simply fall to the ground, and I would need to grab another. The only penalty for fumbling a magazine insertion is really just the time it takes to grab another magazine and then correctly insert it. Magazines can be ejected from your weapon at any point, so you can tactically reload whenever you feel the need. Next, let's take a look at the combat shotgun. This weapon uses the same reload type as the 10mm pistol, and as we're seeing, works just as well. Of course, not all weapons have magazines or even use that slide or bolt style reload system, so let's take a look at a break action reload. For this, I'm going to need my double barreled shotgun. First of all, I'll empty both chambers, and as with all empty weapons, it now enters that dry fire mode. And by pressing the reload button, we can see that the barrel then switches to its open position, and after this I can grab shells from my ammo pouch and then fill both chambers. To complete the reload, I then need to grab the barrel and crack it back to its original position. The barrel does simulate weight, so if I were to let it go early, it does drop back down to that open position. I can also reload after firing just one single shot, and when the barrel is opened, you'll see that remaining shell there in the second chamber. If I were to choose to, I could just simply add one shell instead of two. Moving on, let's take a look at the cylinder-based reloads, but before we see those live in action, I feel that I should mention that for compatibility reasons, my intention with this mod was that I would not alter any of the game's base NIF files in order to accomplish a virtual reload system. Sadly, due to how these weapons were created, this was just not possible with the cylinder-based weapons. As we're seeing here, these weapons have a major flaw in terms that the cylinder does not actually contain single bullets, but instead this makeshift mesh. Due to this, I've had to overhaul both the 44 and the pipe revolver's base meshes to achieve both the gameplay and visual aesthetic that I was intending for this mod. So let's take a peek at how the cylinder reloads work in game. Upon pressing the reload button, we can see that the cylinder drops to one side, and due to my work on the weapons NIF file, its chambers are now empty. All I'll need to do is grab single bullets from my ammo pouch and refill each of them. Before then slamming the cylinder shut. I can also perform partial reloads by opening the weapon cylinder, and as we can see, it has just 2 rounds missing. And should I feel the need, I can complete the reload without filling all of the weapons chambers. The last reload system I can demonstrate today are the reloads for the laser-based weapons. These operate in a similar fashion to the bolt or slide type reloads, where you simply eject a spent fusion cell, add another from your ammo pouch, and then crank the latching mechanism to complete the weapons reload. So I guess a question on people's minds at this stage is, what about my third-party weapons, and will virtual reloads even support them? Well, the answer is yes, at least to some degree, as I'm actually developing this mod in what I term reverse. And by this I mean that I'm first creating a configuration tool which enables users to choose a weapon's reload type and then adjust certain attributes so that it can be virtually reloaded. To demonstrate this, I'll take my deliverer here, which the mod at this stage knows nothing about. I'll first empty its magazine, and as we can see, the game simply auto-reloads it, as is the default behaviour. To incorporate this weapon into virtual reloads, I would need to open the mod's configuration tool, at which point I can cycle through the mod supported reload types, selecting the most appropriate for this weapon. As this weapon used a slide mechanism, I chose the bolt and slide type. I can now move the weapon slide to the position that I want the mod to use it as its maximum position. And when I'm happy, I can just press the save button, holster my weapon, and then the next time the weapon is equipped, the mod will use the profile we just assigned to it, and now it can be virtually reloaded. That's about all I have to show you today. The mod is in early stages of development, so please do not expect a release anytime soon. Of course, as the mod progresses, I will create new videos demonstrating the new features I've been adding, so expect to see new reload systems and also advancements to the mod's configuration mode, which will hopefully allow you to reposition the ammo that's in your left hand, as well as allowing you to set the FRIK finger poses. As always, if you would like to show your support for my work and buy me a pint, you can do so by subscribing to my Patreon, and as a token of my gratitude, you'll gain access to a growing collection of both Skyrim and Fallout 4 VR goodies, such as the holster artwork you have seen in this video today. I'm RollingRock, by your command.